Every 2 years since 2017, I have produced an updated Medicare Explained video so that those who are or will soon be new to Medicare understand their Medicare health insurance benefits, risks, and limitations. This year's update will be different and a more important video presentation for two important reasons. It will be in two parts, two separate videos. Why? Obviously, for those just researching Medicare, this is one of the best explanations of the Medicare program and the choices that you must make. That is what's covered in this Part 1 video. The Part 2 video covers changes that you must be made aware of if you are to make an informed decision on your Medicare. There are significant unfolding issues in both the Medicare Supplement and the Medicare Advantage plan markets, changes that are directly impacting your costs and your benefits. And these are serious issues that will have a direct impact on the decisions that you're going to make going forward. Medicare Supplement price increases are at record highs, and Medicare Advantage plan benefits have been reduced significantly. Many Medicare Advantage plans and Medicare Supplement insurance companies are no longer. A perfect storm of events since 2020 have forced them to close up the picnic table and run for cover. At the same time, Medicare Part D prescription drug premiums have jumped over 100%, and there too, 60% of the insurance companies that offered Part D in 2023 no longer offer any Medicare Part D. Of those that are left, 1/3 of their Part D plans are canceled. You have fewer choices, and what you have left costs a lot more. But as I mentioned, it's a perfect storm, and we'll be talking more about these very serious developments in the Part 2 video. Now that said, during these past 12 months, I have enrolled in Medicare myself and was faced with the same dilemma that you are faced with right now. In the Part 2 video, I will share with you the solution that I chose and recommend that you consider to protect yourself from the trend of higher price increases and reduced benefits that have plagued the Medicare market. If you are researching Medicare and trying to understand your choices, this video is where you start. Hi, I'm Matthew Clausen with MedigapSeminars Insurance Agency. We are a full-service insurance agency operating in 49 states and specializing in Medicare and retirement needs. Please reach out to us for personalized guidance. Our services are free to you, the consumer. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. Your support is important to us, and it helps us reach more people like yourself. So I'll start by reviewing Medicare Parts A and B and the choices that you must make once you enroll in Medicare. If you already know about Medicare and want to skip ahead, skip to the Part 2 video, which will be published just about a week after this one, and that's going to cover the issues that we're dealing with in the current environment and, of course, my personal Medicare choices. So let's start with Original Medicare. Original Medicare, Medicare as it was originally constructed, is comprised of two important parts: Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B. Medicare Part A is inpatient coverage. Medicare Part A pays benefits when you are an inpatient in a medical facility like a hospital or a nursing facility. As soon as you become an inpatient in a hospital, Medicare Part A benefits take over. The same when you become an inpatient in a skilled nursing facility or a hospice. The one exception is that if you're not able to physically get to a medical facility for health care, and in that case, Medicare Part A also pays for home health care. For most of us, we've fully paid for our Medicare Part A before we retire by paying a Medicare tax in our paychecks over our lifetime. That's that 1.45% tax deducted each pay period. As long as you or your spouse has paid the Medicare tax for at least 10 years, your Medicare Part A is fully paid for. You do not pay a monthly premium for Part A unless neither you nor your spouse have paid that Medicare tax for at least 10 years. Again, Medicare Part A is your inpatient insurance coverage. So what about Medicare Part B? Medicare Part B is the part of Medicare that pays for outpatient and physician services. This is the portion of Medicare insurance that you use when you see a doctor or have lab tests or physical therapy and so on. Medicare Part B also includes some wellness or preventive care coverage. Medicare Part B is the part of Medicare people use most often because most of our medical care is via outpatient services. Even many surgeries and hospital services are now done as an outpatient and are thus covered under Medicare Part B. In addition, if you're an inpatient in a hospital, the doctor fees for surgery and bedside visits are considered physician services and fall under your Medicare Part B coverage. So Medicare Part B has a required monthly premium. Everyone must pay for their Medicare Part B insurance. No matter what choices you make with your Medicare, you must have Part B and you will be required to pay for it. You can delay enrolling in Medicare Part B if you continue to actively work past the age of 65 and you or your spouse has the creditable employer health insurance coverage and you're participating in that plan. In other words, if your spouse has creditable coverage and you are on your spouse's plan, then your coverage would be creditable as well. Now, your employer will be able to tell you if your health insurance is creditable or is a creditable substitute for Medicare. But I also have a cheat sheet that you can use in the show notes below and on my website. And by the way, if you have more questions after this video or at any time, I now have a chat box on my website that uses AI to answer your Medicare questions. You can find my article on creditable coverage or any other Medicare topic by asking your questions there. In general, as long as your employer has at least 20 employees, their group health insurance should be a creditable substitute for Medicare if you are age 65 or older and actively working. Keep in mind your employer group health insurance may cost more and have fewer benefits than Medicare. I have a free Medicare calculator on my website that can help you make that comparison. So ask the chat box on MedigapSeminars.org for the link. At this point, you should be asking, so what does Medicare cost? For most people, those whose annual incomes are under $106,000, the monthly premium for Medicare Part B in 2025 is $185. The premium for 2026 has not been officially announced yet as of the making of this video, but the 2026 Part B base monthly premium is estimated to be about $206.50 a month for 2026. They're typically announced somewhere near Thanksgiving. Higher income people pay more than the standard rate for Part B. If your modified adjusted gross income as of 2 years ago is greater than $106,000, you may be required to pay more than the standard Part B premium. Medicare calls this increased cost share an income-related monthly adjustment amount, or IRMAA for short. They use a rolling 2-year look back of your income. This means that for 2025, they look at your 2023 tax return. For 2026, they will look at your 2024 tax return, and so on. The IRMAA charges and the table of levels of income required to qualify increase each year with inflation. We expect the minimum annual income level for 2026 to be $109,000 as an annual income. And this will be your modified adjusted gross income for 2024. The actual number for next year are usually released again around Thanksgiving. So see my video on IRMAA for more details. I should have a link to it up here. We know Medicare Part A is inpatient health insurance. If you're an inpatient in a hospital, a nursing facility, a hospice, or at a home for home health care, that's all Part A. Medicare Part B is outpatient and physician services, which includes wellness care, lab work, and medical equipment, outpatient surgeries, and physical therapy. Together, Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B are called Original Medicare. Now, there is also Medicare Part D. Medicare Part D covers prescription drugs that you would pick up at a pharmacy or mail order and self-administer. Part D is not considered a part of original Medicare. So the next point here is very important. Every part of Medicare covers some prescription medication. Part A covers prescriptions used while you are an inpatient in a medical facility. Part B covers most prescriptions that are administered to you by a Medicare practitioner in a medical setting. Part D is just for the medications that you self-administer. There are exceptions, there are always exceptions, but that's the general rule. Also, it's important to understand that there are two ways you can get Medicare Part D. If you are keeping your original Medicare Parts A and B, you can get a standalone Part D plan. If you're switching to a Medicare Advantage, HMO, or PPO, you can only get a Part D plan that is bundled with your Advantage plan. You cannot get a standalone Part D. And if you have a Medicare Advantage, HMO, or PPO, and you do enroll in a standalone Part D, your Advantage plan will be automatically canceled. Now, when do you enroll in Medicare? So let's go over when you can enroll, then the choices from which you must choose. You can enroll in Medicare during a 7-month window that consists of your birthday month, the 3 calendar months before your birthday month, and the 3 calendar months after your birthday month. Your Medicare can start no sooner than the first day of the month that you turn 65. Plus, Medicare always starts on the first day of the month. If your birthday is January 20th, your Medicare starts January 1. If your birthday happens to be the first day of a month, your Medicare can start the first day of the month before you turn 65. So if your birthday is December 1, your Medicare starts November 1. Your entire 7-month enrollment period in that case moves forward by 1 month. Now if that's confusing, I have a free Medicare calculator on my website that will show you your initial enrollment period. Check out the drop-down menu from the Resources tab, or just go to the MedigapSeminars.org and ask my chat box. If you have creditable employer coverage, you can delay enrolling in Medicare entirely or enroll in Medicare Part A only, in which case it's in your best interest to delay enrolling in Medicare Part B until you are ready for original Medicare to be your primary insurance. If you have creditable coverage, you can delay enrolling in Medicare Part B indefinitely. Once you have enrolled in Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B both, then you must make one of 3 choices. Choice number 1 is to do nothing. Just keep your original Medicare and perhaps add a Part D prescription drug coverage. You don't have to do anything else. What are the pros and cons of this choice of doing nothing? Well, the pros are the 2 greatest benefits of original Medicare. The first is that with original Medicare, you can see any doctor, go to any medical facility in the United States or U.S. territory as long as they accept original Medicare. And 2, no insurance company can interfere with your healthcare decisions. Your healthcare decisions are between you and your doctor. More than 98% of non-pediatric doctors in the United States accept original Medicare. So unless you are going through a second childhood and want a pediatrician, almost every doctor that you might want will accept your original Medicare. If there's a doctor halfway across the country who specializes in treating the condition that you have, you can see that doctor and Medicare will cover their portion of the bill. You'll have to pay travel and hotel costs, but your Medicare services are insured. Plus, your doctor does not need to submit prior authorizations to a for-profit insurance company to get permission to treat you. Medicare's mandate is to cover everything that is medically necessary. As a result, your medical decisions are between you and your doctor, not controlled by an insurance company. To be clear, Medicare's mandate is to cover everything medically necessary to diagnose and treat any injury, illness, or condition. You may have heard some scary talk that Medicare will be requiring prior authorizations in an experimental program starting in 2026. That's sort of true. So please see my video on prior authorizations. It's going to be linked above here for the details and then my take on that subject. I don't see this as an issue of concern. Medicare's intent for this program is to fight fraud. Their mandate for what they cover has not changed. The weakness of choosing Original Medicare all by itself is that Medicare Parts A and B have significant out-of-pocket costs through coinsurance, copays, and deductibles. In addition, there's no maximum out-of-pocket limit to your medical bills. With just Original Medicare by itself, you can theoretically have unlimited financial exposure in a worst-case scenario. Now, that's choice number 1 of 3. Both of the next 2 choices solve the maximum out-of-pocket problem, but each has its own pros and cons. There's no free lunch. So choice number 2 is to switch to a privatized version of Original Medicare. You can replace your Original Medicare with a similar program of benefits called Medicare Part C, or more commonly referred to as Medicare Advantage plans. Medicare Part C replaces Original Medicare with a privatized version operated by a for-profit insurance company. Well, you must still pay your Medicare Part B and any IRMAA premium. The Medicare Advantage plan premiums are usually very low and could be zero. Most Medicare Advantage plans come in the form of either an HMO or a PPO. Without going into the details of those 2 benefit structures, here's what's important. When you choose a Medicare Advantage plan, you lose the 2 greatest benefits of Original Medicare. You're restricted to a limited network of medical providers, which can change at any time. You can no longer see any doctor that accepts Original Medicare. You're limited to doctors who are contracted with your specific Medicare Advantage plan. In addition, Medicare Advantage plans require your doctor to seek their permission before performing any non-urgent service. This is called prior authorizations. Without prior authorization approval, your doctor will not get paid. And it's been proven that these insurance companies deny, modify, and delay medical care for their own benefit. So your health care is in their hands. Now, you'll hear some agents say that with a Medicare Advantage PPO, you can see any doctor that accepts Original Medicare. That is grossly misleading. You have the ability to ask any doctor that accepts Medicare if they will accept your PPO insurance. In reality, they almost always say no. If the doctor wanted to be contracted with your insurance, your doctor would already be contracted with them. It doesn't cost them anything to do so. For most people, just the fact that you give up the 2 greatest benefits of Original Medicare is enough to steer them away from Medicare Advantage plans. With Advantage plans, you can no longer see any medical professional that accepts Medicare, and the insurance company controls your healthcare decisions. But there's more that is also important. Medicare Advantage plans are annual plans. The features and benefits of every Medicare Advantage plan change annually. Every January 1 is a new plan with different costs and different benefits. Plus, many plans are canceled every year. And I'll discuss this in more detail in the second video of this series. But in both 2024 and 2025, more than 1 million people on Medicare Advantage plans lost their plans. Their Advantage plan was canceled. In some cases, they were automatically placed into a plan that they didn't choose. In other cases, the consumer needed to find a new Advantage plan, or they were automatically switched back to Original Medicare. It's very, very difficult to budget for your future medical costs when your plan benefits and costs change every year. Keep in mind, Medicare Advantage plans are local coverage. If you travel within the U.S. or like you use an RV, you'll have an emergency coverage, but you have emergency coverage only outside of your resident zip code or county or the plan original area. Outside the United States, some Advantage plans have emergency coverage only if you can prove that you are traveling and you're not an expat. Lastly, every year, Medicare sets the annual maximum out-of-pocket allowed for Medicare Advantage plans for the coming calendar year. That is the most a consumer is supposed to be liable for Medicare inpatient or outpatient services in the year ahead. In 2020, the maximum a patient could be liable for was $6,700 for in-network services and $10,000 for approved out-of-network services. But medical inflation that impacts Advantage plans is growing at a rate faster than the Consumer Price Index. As a result, we've seen a 40% increase in the maximum out-of-pocket in just the past 5 years. For 2026, the maximum out-of-pocket is projected at just under $10,000 for in-network services and just under $15,000 for approved out-of-network services. Let me stress, that limit is for approved services only. You have no insurance for non-urgent services that are not approved by the insurance company. The bottom line is that Medicare Advantage plans offer a low premium solution to original Medicare that includes a maximum out-of-pocket. But the real price is that you lose the best benefits of original Medicare, and the maximum allowed out-of-pocket can increase enough annually to such a degree that over a couple decades of retirement, it can become a financial burden for some. All that aside, when our clients choose an Advantage plan, we include additional coverage that covers that. It'll reduce their maximum out-of-pocket to nearly zero. That's important, and I'll have more on that in the next video. Lastly, Medicare Advantage plans have been known for having extra benefits beyond what's offered by original Medicare. But as you'll see in the next video, those extra benefits are drying up fast because of rising medical costs. In addition, Medicare Advantage plans can have large deductibles, especially for hospital stays. If you get cancer, every Advantage plan I've seen requires you to pay 20% of your cancer treatment up to your maximum out-of-pocket. In other words, you'll pay your maximum out-of-pocket. If your treatment extends past any December 31st, it resets and you're going to pay that maximum out-of-pocket twice, once for each calendar year. We have a way to fix this, but without our fix, getting seriously ill can be expensive with an Advantage plan. So now let's look at your third option. Your third option or choice allows you to keep all the best benefits of original Medicare and lowers your maximum out-of-pocket. This is done by keeping your original Medicare Parts A and B as your primary coverage, then adding a secondary policy that we call a Medicare Supplement plan. A Medicare Supplement plan pays all or some of the co-pays, deductibles, and coinsurance that original Medicare leaves as the consumer's responsibility. The end result is that you can have an annual maximum out-of-pocket limit as little as a few $100s. Think about it. No matter what the total cost of your Medicare inpatient and outpatient services, your out-of-pocket expenditures can be just a few $100s. Because original Medicare is still your primary insurance, you keep all of the benefits of original Medicare. You can see any doctor, visit any medical facility in the United States or U.S. territory that accepts Medicare, no referrals required. Plus, no insurance company has a say over your healthcare decisions. The Medicare Supplement has no say in what is or is not covered. In fact, with most large insurance companies, over 80% of the Medicare bills are paid by the supplement within 48 hours with no human intervention. In addition, the benefits of a Medicare supplement are standardized by the federal government. This means that the minimum benefits offered are the same from one insurance company to another. Now, I'm not going to go over the details of each type of supplement policy here. You can take a look at a separate website I have set up called ChooseYourMedigap.com, linked below, or call our office at the phone number linked above for personalized guidance, or go to MedigapSeminars.org and start asking about different Medicare supplement plans in the chat box. Before I get to the weakness of a Medicare supplement policy, let me state this as well. Medicare supplement plans have their own initial enrollment period that is different than your Medicare enrollment period. Your Medicare supplement plan initial enrollment period starts the day your Medicare Part B starts. Doesn't matter when you've delayed it to, whenever your Medicare Part B starts, that starts a Medicare supplement plan enrollment period. Your Medicare supplement plan enrollment period is 180 days from that Part B start date. A lot of people will say it's 6 months, and then they mistake it to be 6 calendar months, but most insurance companies will stick to 180 calendar days. So you have 180 days from the start of your Part B to enroll in a Medicare supplement with no medical questions asked, no medical history, nothing. Whatever is available to you, you can get at the lowest price they offer on a guarantee issue basis. Now, the weakness of a Medicare supplement is that you must pay for it. It has a monthly premium because it is insurance coverage in addition to your Medicare. It doesn't replace your Medicare like an Advantage plan. It improves your coverage by lowering your out-of-pocket expenses. You must plan for that premium to increase at least at the rate of inflation over your lifetime. Also consider, for reasons I'll detail in the next video of this series, Medicare supplement premium rate increases are likely to be, on average, higher than the rate of inflation at least through 2028. Now, how would you like to improve the benefits of an Advantage plan so they're close to and in some ways more benefits than what's offered by a Medicare supplement, but without the cost? Or how about cutting your Medicare supplement premium significantly with more rate stability, all while having benefits that are near and in some cases stronger than some of the more popular Medicare supplement plans? Well, you can. And I'll reveal that in the next video. This one is just too long for me to keep talking. So please press the like button below, and while you're down there, make sure that you subscribe to this channel for more videos on Medicare and related topics. Our videos are not being shared by YouTube as much as they used to be. So liking and subscribing is a huge benefit to me, and I would appreciate it greatly. I'm Matthew Clausen with Medigap Seminars Insurance Agency. Thank you for watching.